So I want to ask, because there's always new trends and new things that come up in SEO. So what are some of the things that you've really noticed that have been sort of like the new SEO trends that have grabbed your attention this past year?
Yeah, I think, when you look at like SEO trends, I think, Google's relying a lot more on like user signals now. Whereas in the past, there were things that you could do to manipulate search, dating back to, stuffing keywords and keyword density and putting white text on a white background, right? So there's all the tricks that you can do back in the day. Nowadays, Google's a lot more sophisticated, and they're relying on actually how people interact with your website and your content. And so, writing with the intention of satisfying the searcher's intent, right? And so I think, that's really what it comes down to these days is satisfying the intent of somebody that's doing a search, and then making sure that you've got all of your fundamentals kind of taken care of with technical SEO and building popularity and, continuing to kind of publish content on a regular basis.
I love to talk about search intent. And semantically, I was taught this lesson like a while ago, is it's really easy to kind of just conjure up keywords that you want to go after. And this was something I learned as a beginner was, so I run an answering service, right? One of the things that I would love to go after is like, legal answering, right?
Yep.
It sounds so legit. I run an answering service for lawyers, but if I were to go after that keyword, legal answering, what people are really looking for is answers to their legal questions. And so if I were to purposefully optimize my website for that keyword and start ranking for it, people would come to my website and ask me all sorts of questions that I'm not qualified to answer.
Sure.
And one of the ways that I learned that was this guy, I went to like a what do you call that? Like a conference, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was explaining that he was in charge of, I think it was getting traffic for Walmart or a big retailer for TVs. So he does a bunch of research, and he says, oh my goodness, there's 150,000 searches every day for TV. I'm just going to put so much resources and advertising and campaigns and this for TV. Sure. What happens when you type in TV is people are looking to stream TV. It's like Netflix shows up, Hulu shows up, streaming services. So this guy wasted all this time, and he had to learn that you really want to match the content you're putting out to the intent of the searcher, not just what you're trying to get across. So I love talking about search intent.
Yeah, and then the Google's sophisticated to kind of figure that out algorithmically, right? So when somebody does a search for, like, just let's use the example that you gave there, right, where it's people are looking for answers to like legal questions, right, instead of an answering service. If somebody does that search and you're ranking, Google may kind of experiment by putting your website in like the second or third position. But if enough people click on it and only stay there for 7 seconds and then they go back to Google's measuring that time. And so the more people that are not staying on your website and going back to Google is telling Google algorithmically that you're not satisfying the intent of that search. And so they're going to boost you to page 2 or page 3 and move other people up, right? So
exactly. So even if you're dishonestly trying to gain traffic in that way, you're really not doing yourself any favors. You're sort of wasting your time.
Yeah.